do you think there's that expectation that women are expected to be great at everything and be everywhere and be everything for everyone?
Make sure your marriage works. You know, even if it's falling apart, pretend that
everything is great.
If everything is great, show up for the kids.
While the man continues to go after his dreams, he continues to live life and has a social life and all of that good stuff. Well, us women are stuck living our lives and sacrificing our lives, which is so sad. And I hate that word sacrifice because why should you sacrifice for anyone? Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to another episode of the Cultured Voices podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Fatima Mohamed. And today, actually, I wanted to do a little bit of like a restructure on the podcast because I feel like we've been talking a lot about like careers and what people do and successes. But from now on, I honestly am very passionate about community. So we'll be talking about topics that have a lot to do with our community and how we deal with things and how we act and how we can actually get better. So with that being said, today's guest is such a special one. Hi, Fartun.
Hey.
How are you? You look
fine.
Absolutely stunning in that color, first of all.
Thank you so much. You look absolutely gorgeous too.
Thank you. So today, actually, we are going to talk about a topic that has a lot to do with women, okay? And the topic of the day is going to be the weight of expectations, why women are isolated, and how we can rebuild our community. I think, before I get there, I think we'll definitely go and dive deep into that topic. But first of all, let me introduce myself if I haven't. My name is Dr. Fatima Mohamed, and I will be your host and let Fartun do her own introduction.
Thank you so much, Fatima. Thank you for having me on the podcast. My name is Fartun Hussein. I am a life coach. I'm the founder of Noor Essence Coaching. And it's a space whereby women get together and we create community, friendships, a space which is a safe space. Women come to connect with themselves, connect with like-minded women. It's basically a container, a platform for women to come and grow and evolve and find out their purpose and what they can be. And just like you, I'm so passionate about the community. And I'm so excited for this episode.
Oh, thank you so much. Guys, the first time I actually went to one of your coaching sessions at Noor.
Yes.
So beautiful, mashallah. The amount of I love being in women's spaces. I think even this podcast says how many amount of female guests that I have. I honestly love being around amazing women. I don't like to use the word strong, and I think we'll get to that. But I love being, in the midst of amazing women, incredible, who do so much. And especially when we met, I could see your aura and how much you really love growth. And that's one word that I feel like personal growth is something that you are very passionate about. Yes. And women, women-led founders and who really want to try and help the community and create a safe space for women to grow.
Yes. And I felt like it was natural, that we got to like one another. And it's, the amazing work that you also do with women. It's not so much as you have to tell, there's something, you have a message. But as much as you have a message, others have messages too. And I think that's what has drawn, me to you. Yeah. That you also have a platform where you empower women, you give a voice to women, which is very important, I think, especially in our community.
It really is.
And especially in today's world where there's a lot of wrong information out there.
Misconceptions.
Yes.
So true. No, honestly, I feel like a lot of the time, especially with our community, a lot of people have thoughts about us, but they don't really know the reality. And I actually have a lot of my audience, some of them are non-Somali and non-Muslim. And every time they watch an episode where a woman is talking, they're like, oh my God, I actually didn't think that Somali women are about that. And I actually didn't think that they're doing that. And honestly, that's the whole essence of what I'm trying to do, so that not only do we show our community what we are about, and, we talk about topics that really, really matter to us, but also show the non-Somalis what we are all about, that we have amazing people. Yeah.
Yes.
MashaAllah.
Yes. And on that note also, I also think that sharing our voices is very important at the same time. And also being that where the reason people don't know about Somali women and what they do is because they're not visible.
Yeah.
People do not know, about us. They do not know what we do, what we are about. And I feel like creating that kind of space is what people actually need to come out and even be themselves, because there's that isolation also. Everybody has some expertise, everybody has a gift, everybody has a talent, but
everybody does
hidden
on their own.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. We will get into isolation really well, but before we actually get into our topic today, I wanted us to share something, like whatever it is that it stood out to you recently, or if there's something that has been on your mind, so that we can, break the ice and just talk about.
Something that stood out to me recently. I get a lot of things, but if I will pick one, it's my 12-year-old daughter. I feel like she's been coming to me lately, talking about things, personal things, what happened in school. And I kind of feel like at the end of the day, she needs that kind of one-on-one connection. And I've been enjoying it. And I guess I'm looking forward to her teenage years and just having that kind of friendship, which I think mothers need with their daughters.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, that's so beautiful. And I love that you said you're looking forward to the teenage years, because a lot of people are really scared of teenage years.
Yes.
And for me, my daughter is 2.5 now.
Amazing.
And before a few months ago, obviously, they were not vocal. So she wasn't speaking a lot, but now hearing her express herself and telling you, no, I don't want this, or I want to do this, or I don't like this one. It's so beautiful to see.
2 years is a very special age for kids.
Yeah, it really
it's the
is.
time you cannot even dress them. She has to pick her dress.
It's like, I want that one. I want the beautiful one. And now I don't know how or where she's heard this, but she learned the words, I am tired.
Wow.
So she kept on saying, I am tired. In the morning she wakes up, I am tired. I'm like, girl, you don't even know what that word means. But it's so lovely to see, like, mashallah, that your 12 years old daughter is coming to you and telling you about her experiences and her life. And I'm sure it also needs patience, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
My daughter is very strong-willed. She's been like that since she was, I think, immediately after birth, she knew what she wanted.
I love that.
And I feel like a lot of mothers and their daughters, maybe they have that kind of friction where their daughter is outspoken, and at the end of the day, they need compassion and they need that kind of safe space where they can just land and feel their emotions, whether they're 2 or they're 12 or they're 16. Yeah,
don't we all need that even as adults?
We do.
Yeah, mashallah. Okay, so let me mention what stood out to me lately. I know it's such a generic one because it's the complete opposite of what you just said. So recently, I have a Facebook account, and I always, sometimes I don't like to scroll around TikTok, weird enough. So these days, I've been so obsessed with looking at reels on Facebook. And one of those reels are about chicken and them laying eggs. I know, this is so weird. But I recently found out that chickens lay eggs every day. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, I know. I was like, oh my goodness, I had never knew that. And then my husband always messes me. He's like, oh, this is new to you? I was like, yeah. I never knew that chickens lay eggs every day. I'm like, now I need chickens. And then now the apartments that I live in, right next door, there's like this little house and they keep chickens on the side. I'm like, oh my God. Since I've been so crazy about those videos, and I'm always looking at random women, especially like, Caucasian women in the West. They go and they have like homesteads and they go pick up their eggs every morning. They're like, oh, let's go see how many eggs that we have today. And then they pick up different eggs. And I'm like, what? Yeah, I've been obsessed about that. So obsessed, and it's so cool because I learned so much, and also quails. I didn't even know that people eat quail eggs.
I knew that.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
There was a time it was a craze. I think it was a trend.
Yeah, and they're so small, so they eat so many of them. I'm like, so interested, so obsessed with that now. So everywhere I go, I'm like, oh my God, did you know that chickens lay eggs every day? Yeah. Anyways, I think I'm ranting because I'm so excited about that. Anyways, okay, let's get into our topic, guys. So our topic today is the weight of expectations and why women are isolated and how we can rebuild our community. So let's first get into the weight of expectations that especially women face, right? So I feel like since we are young and how we are raised as women, there's always that sense of expectations like you're a woman, do better, be better. What is it called? You have to learn and go to school and study. But afterwards, you also need to be a daughter, a good one. You have to be your brother's keeper, pick up things, even what is it called, behind them, and be great at everything. Do you think there's that expectation that women are expected to be great at everything and be everywhere and be everything for everyone?
Yes. And I think the expectations is not just outwardly what they're expected to do, like wear so many hats. Even you can tell when there's a firstborn daughter who's 12 years old in a house, and when there's a firstborn son. The 12-year-old daughter will look after the kids. There's that sense of responsibility and that sense of nurturing that we are naturally born with.
Yeah.
But again, the expectations is too much because as much as we are expected to excel in everything, we are also not expected to sort of like express our pain. I love that you mentioned your daughter was saying that she's tired. She's tired. And I think we were not allowed from a young age to say we are tired or that we can't do this. And it was sort of like an unspoken rule.
Yeah.
You have to just show up and do the best that you can do. And I think growing up, it has led to a lot of women silently suffering in their marriages, in their careers, even keeping up with their parents' demands who, tend to pick up on them only, take care of your brother, take care of your sister, even when they're grown-ups. Yeah, we've seen those kind of dynamics. And I would say I know people personally who go through that, and it's interesting to see. But at the same time, you see the kind of coping mechanisms that show up later in life.
That is so true. Honestly speaking, especially with my experience as a firstborn daughter,
yes,
and I feel like honestly, like our lives are not our lives.
Yes, and firstborn daughters are the parent. They're the second parent. They're the parentified child most of the time.
Very much so. And I feel like that is so sad that we've actually normalized that. And I always tell, especially parents and mothers who have daughters as their firstborn, I'm like, guys, please. Like, one thing we need to break is that. Like, these expectations where if you have a daughter, she's going to take care of things. I'm like, that is so sad because for you don't really see it from her point of view. And the amount of pressure, the amount of expectations that is put on you when you're just a child and you just want to live your life and you just want to enjoy time with your friends or enjoy having different experiences, but you are expected to deal with emotions and responsibilities of an adult. I think is so unfair to women and so unfair to kids who are firstborn daughters.
Yeah. And what that creates also is women internalizing shame, internalizing guilt, regret.
Yeah.
So that when you're older, there's nothing you do that's good enough. We have mom guilt.
Yeah.
Whether you show up as the best mom 24 hours every day.
Yeah.
You're always feeling like, oh, I'm not a good mother.
Yeah.
And you feel not good enough even at your work. If you have a career, you feel like you're not good enough in your relationships. And you feel like you should hide and sort of isolate. And I think because you mentioned isolation, it's because of those expectations, because you have to keep up this appearance that I got it together.
Yeah.
It's sort of, it's a lonely place.
It really is.
Yes.
It really,
yes.
and I feel like a lot of people really don't understand that. And honestly, when you're describing all of that, it's some things that I felt when I was younger.
Me too. I'm not a firstborn, but I'm a secondborn.
Yeah.
And I have been acting as a firstborn for a very long time.
Yeah.
And my firstborn, our firstborn, my sister, is just like you. She was the parentified child. I was more like a secondborn. I was a rebel and all of that, but still I felt the weight of the expectations on me.
Yeah.
Get good grades, get a good job, get married, be a good wife, make sure your marriage works. You know, even if it's falling apart, pretend that
pretend that everything is great.
Everything is great. Show up for the kids, and I think you get to a point whereby you run out of fuel, you burn out completely, and that's now where things get interesting.
Yeah. No, but the burnout is honestly so real, because a lot of the time, you know, we talked about also, we mentioned isolation, because, you know, when you're actually going through it and there's no one to talk to, because a lot of people, you know, like when you are the responsible one, you don't have somebody else that you can let loose with, you know? And then with that pressure, it gets so lonely, because you feel like everything is on you, that you can't really take a break, that you have to be on top of everything, can be so hard on women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I say when you get to that point, you know, just walk into a therapist's office.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I saw a therapist. I was going through a hard time. Then I was married. And I remember I had a friend of mine who was a therapist, and I wanted her to be my therapist. And she was like, no, I'm your friend. And she gave me a number of one of her friends. And I remember talking to her, and she was out of the country. And one day, it was back in 2018. One day I'm going to work, you know, I'm going through all these emotions internally. I feel like I'm falling apart. One day I'm going to work, I get dressed up and I'm leaving the house, and, you know, I'm just looking myself in the mirror and I'm like, oh my God, I don't recognize myself anymore. And I had that feeling of like, who are you, right? And I remember back in the day, we used to take a matatu. I used to take 2 matatus to my office in Westlands. I took a matatu to town, and when I was in town, I got off the matatu and I texted the lady. She was my therapist for 3 years after that. Wow. And I texted her and I was like, can I see you today? And she was like, I just got back from a trip, and how about I see you tomorrow? And I texted her back and I was like, it's an emergency.
Wow.
And she was like, okay, come to my office at 12 o'clock.
Wow.
And it's morning. It's not 8 a.m. yet. So I just walked into a Java in town. I texted my supervisor that I'm not coming into work. And I sat there and I wrote all the things that I wanted to discuss with my therapist. And 12 noon, I just walked into her office, and I just there crying. And it was the beginning of, you know, that journey of I would say uncovering a lot of things that we take in, and a lot of things that we normalize in our society that you don't talk about. You cannot talk about your pain.
Yeah.
You cannot talk about
your struggles.
You cannot talk about your frustrations. You're told to, you know, pray and read the Quran and just chill and you know, be a woman. Nagnol, as we say in Somali, right?
Such a sad word. Yeah, such a sad word. But honestly, I'm so glad that you had that opportunity to have a therapist. There was a time, honestly, that I was really, really going through it. And I tried to get a therapist, but Alhamdulillah that I didn't. Not to say that I would have loved to get that support, but I didn't. But still, that made me want to honestly put in the work myself. Since I had a little bit of with a medical background, I kind of, even though like medicine and psychology is not the same, but I felt like I had the tools and I just needed to literally sit down and work on it myself, which was so hard to do. But it was COVID time, COVID time was very difficult for a lot of people. So I literally sat down and I was very honest with myself, and I wrote down all the things that I didn't like about myself. And all of the things that, how, I don't know if you've ever done that list where you write your strengths and your weaknesses.
Yeah, which the SWOT analysis.
Yes. So for me, it was such a life-changing moment, because once I wrote my strengths, I realized that my strengths weren't really my strengths. Because sometimes what we were talking about, that pressure, being able to, do things. I honestly, when I wrote to those strengths, I realized that I was like, wow, I literally have been surviving. I've been surviving and not thriving. So I decided to actually just take a step back from everything, take a step back from being a firstborn. Like, I mean my responsibilities. At the time, I was actually a wife as well, but my husband was away because we weren't living together at the time. So I also took a step back from that. I decided not to be anything for anyone. Wow. And I just wanted to concentrate on myself and be better and learn what I want, what I needed, what did I want for my future. And when I actually decided to take that time, it was honestly life-changing for me. And that's why when everybody asks me, like, why are you the way you are right now? And it's a completely different shift from, I think I mentioned this before to you. Yes. It's a completely different shift from who I was in university and all of that. But I realized that I was honestly surviving in life and I was living for others. I was a lot of people's somebody. Yes. I was a daughter, I was a sister, I was like a doctor, I was a wife, I was everything to everyone. But then I realized that I had nothing left for me. And that also, when we talk about isolation, that felt really lonely. And I felt like I was in the midst of a lot of people, but I was still lonely because I felt like nobody understood what I was going through. Yeah. And I had no words to describe them, And that is the pressure about women just needing to be great and just continue with life, without actually taking a step and realizing, what am I actually doing this for? Do I actually like it? Do I actually want to do this forever? That's why I think also the community, sadly, also facilitates that.
The expectations that is placed on us by the society.
Very much so. And we're like, no, but why are you complaining? Like, you're a woman. Like, naknol iskadik. Continue. Like, no, why do you need this? Why are you complaining? Women have been doing this for the longest time.
You have it easy. You have it easy.
Yeah.
You have it easy.
No, we don't.
You
no,
have
we
it
don't.
easy in the sense that your mother didn't have this.
Yeah.
And that's what they compare our reality with.
Yeah. And talking about like what our mothers had, our village is no longer. Especially as moms.
Yes.
As moms, we don't have the support that our mothers and our grandmothers had. Like our grandmothers and our mothers used to have, they all used to live in the same compound. Yes. They used to have like the possibility of raising all of their kids alone, together. Yes. And, like having that support, whether or not they have marital issues, they had a community to talk to. They were never isolated. But for us, we all live in our apartments, like our doors are closed.
Yes.
We suffer, in alone.
Silence.
Whatever it is that your kids are going through, it's between you and their dad, and that's it. Yes. Nobody really knows. So there's no, and I always say, like, thank goodness for my nanny, because for me, my nanny is my village.
I know.
Wallahi, my nanny's like, I don't know what I would do without her. Alhamdulillah. Yeah. But just to say that we need that village back.
Yes.
Yeah. We need to figure out a way.
We do. And I like that you mentioned a lot of things. And one of the things that you said is sitting down with yourself and writing down your strengths and your weaknesses and getting to know what Fatima really wants. And you found out that you were living a script that was handed to you by everyone except yourself. And I think COVID was a very interesting time for people to like finally look themselves in the mirror, because our distractions was like taken away from us, the work, the social life, everything. And then we were isolated from the society, and you were like, wait a minute, do I even enjoy hanging out with myself? Do I know myself? What do I want, right? And that was a very lonely time for a lot of people. And that you will realize a lot of people left their jobs, a lot of women, a lot of marriages, fell apart, and a lot of friendships. And these are things that, because you said you were surviving, because you're in that default mode where you're always fixing, you're always in emergency mode. You're like, okay, this is happening. Let me put out this file. Let me put out this file. Let me do this. Let me do that. And then you end up isolated, lonely, frustrated, unhappy, and things look good on the outside. On the outside, you're married. On the outside, you have, a good job. On the outside, you have friends. You have a good life. And that's why people look at you and go like,
what were you thinking?
You're ungrateful.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think when you work on your inner, because we have perfected our outside life looks flashy.
Yeah.
It looks very good. But inside, we are doubting ourselves. We have anxiety, no confidence, low self-esteem, all this thing. Am I enough? Am I enough? Am I enough? And when you put back the limelight on yourself, and I love that you didn't go to therapy, but you sort of like did the things a therapist will do for you.
Yeah.
Like ask you, my therapist kept asking me like, what do you want? And I'll start saying the things I don't want. And she'll ask me, what do you want? And I'll tell her what the father of my children wanted. And so
she kept
for me,
up,
I was
what
like,
do you want?
the other person wants something, and then I become that. And she's like, no, how about you? What you want? And then people, now you rearrange your life for them. I was like, oh, that's even possible? You can do that?
But Livy mentioned that yesterday I saw a reel on Instagram, and somebody was saying that it just has to do with what you just said, because she talked about how we always view ourselves from the other person's point of view.
Yes.
And how they look at us. For example, if another person says you're beautiful, then you're like, oh, okay, then I'm beautiful because they said I'm beautiful.
Yes.
If, for example, other people say, oh my goodness, you're brilliant, you're this, they're like, oh, okay, then my self-worth is good because other people, like you always tie everything that you feel about yourself to other people.
Yes.
But then what she mentioned was that other people don't have the context that you have about yourself. You know what you've gone through. You know the hardships and the struggles that you've been, and you know where you are today. Yes. So you don't really need what other people are saying, but instead you can actually look at yourself, be like, oh, I have been through that and now here I am. I am beautiful because I think I'm beautiful. I am good at this because I know how much I've worked at it. Yes. I am confident, I talked about confidence in my last episode. So. I'm confident because I worked at it. Not because somebody tells you or somebody believes that you are confident. Does that make sense?
Yes, totally. And when your inner, you don't believe, you tell me I look beautiful, and that's not my reality in me, in my head. Yeah. I don't feel beautiful. Yeah. I might look beautiful, but I don't feel beautiful. Yeah. And you mentioned that I'm beautiful. I might go like, I cannot even take the compliment. Yeah. And I might feel very uncomfortable. And I might also chase that validation from people. Yeah,
it can be two ways. Yeah.
It also forces you to now sort of people please and, that person thinks I'm beautiful. So you show up in a way that is not true to yourself. Yeah. Because you're seeking that validation. Somebody telling you you're beautiful. Somebody telling you, oh, you're such a nice person. And then you're like, oh, I'm a nice person. So because it's not your reality, because when it's my reality, I'm beautiful, whether you agree with it or you don't agree with it, I'm like, that's how I will show up, right?
It's a fact.
Yes. Yeah. And I love that you mentioned that confidence is a skill. And all of this comes from dealing with whatever's going on, the shame, the guilt, the feeling of never being good enough. And these are things that people grapple with. Women who are very successful in their careers, beautiful women who have built amazing lives for themselves, they have this imposter syndrome. They feel like they are crumbling inside, and they will often tell you, and they will share that. I coach women, and I see very successful women who are, mashallah, in their fields, they're great mothers, they're great everything looks good on the outside, but inside, she's feeling lonely, she's feeling not beautiful, she's feeling unfulfilled, she's feeling unworthy, and all of that. And I like telling women and helping women. I love empowering women. I love not telling them. I love them believing that they're worthy, regardless of whether she has a master's degree, regardless of whether she's a stay-at-home mom.
As long as you're alive and you're good.
Yes, you are worthy. Yeah. And you don't have to put yourself in situations, in relationships, in situations, in even work places where you're not appreciated, because you're sort of seeking that validation, right?
Yeah.
And one of the things that I also like about you is creating that community. You said we don't have the village, but how can we have the village?
Exactly.
We don't have the hafad, the neighborhood our parents had.
But we can be intentional.
How can we be the village for one another?
Exactly.
Your friend gave birth. Can you, like make her soup and send it to her?
Yeah.
Can you check up on her? Can you check up on your neighbor? Can you sort of have this spaces where women come together and feel like, oh, I'm not the only one who's, feeling isolated.
Yeah.
I'm not the only one who feels like I'm failing at life. I'm not the only one who feels like, my life is falling apart. But see,
that's the interesting thing though.
Yes.
But because a lot of the time we all have those feelings. Like are we failing? Are we not good enough? We all have that, and I feel like it's natural. But everybody thinks that they're the only people feeling that until you actually have the courage to speak about it, and you're like every other girl in the room will be like, that's me.
Yes.
That I'm also feel that way. I feel like it's that's why I honestly believe so much in having conversations like that.
Yes.
So that we don't feel alone, because trust me, whatever it is that you're feeling, a lot of other people are feeling the same way.
In a different way sometimes. I might be going through something that you're not going through.
Yeah.
You might be going something different too.
Yeah.
And what I love about, we have Saturday sessions where you came to. Yeah. And the space is so different. We can sit there and cry and sob and just have that ugly cry where you just letting it out, and we're hugging each other, and sometimes we're laughing and celebrating each other's wins. And somebody's going through something. Somebody has a teenager. Somebody is a new mom.
Yeah.
Somebody is pregnant. One, got a promotion. One got laid off. Different seasons of life. Definitely. But when you create that space where we come together and share that and sort of hold each other, the transformation is amazing.
And it's actually so beautiful.
Yes.
MashaAllah, I've been to one of your sessions, and it's actually really beautiful to see. One thing I wanted us to mention, to go back to, is what you talked about, self-worth. And I think as women, sadly, a lot of our self-worth is tied to what we do for other people. Like even yesterday, I was at Arboretum taking a walk, and I randomly met a Somali guy there, and what he told me, because we're just having a random conversation, he was like, and then he was like, do you have kids? And I was like, yeah, I have one daughter. And then he was like, what are you doing? Why don't you get another one? And I'm like, even though it can be so innocent, but then I feel like a lot of the time, unconsciously, even maybe for some people, they always tie a woman to, what are you doing for others? If you're not actively, I don't know if I should use the word producing babies, or trying to find a husband, or being good at this or doing that, then what are you doing?
Achievements. Show me the results.
Yeah, it's
show me the results.
what are you, because he honestly said, what are you doing? Why don't you like have another child? I'm like, can I not concentrate on what I want? And I was just jokingly telling him, like, if I was busy, like, what is it called? Popping babies now, I wouldn't be here enjoying the scenery of Arboretum, you know? And I'm like, but at the same time, I told him, the same way you today don't want to be tied to one thing or doing something for, you know, like either the community or whatever it is. But you also want to enjoy time with your friends. You want to be here walking, because he was also walking in Arboretum. I was like, you have needs or wants from life.
Yes.
I'm like, why as women, we are not allowed to do the same?
It's
like
the expectations.
We always tie them to like, are you having kids? Are you getting married? Are you married? Once you're married, you're like, when are you having a child? You had one child, when are you having the second one? When are you having the third? I'm like, is it never enough? Like, we are never enough to do anything. So I always tell myself and remind myself and other women that at the end of the day, nobody will be satisfied with where you are in life.
Oh,
nobody will ever be like, oh, you've made it. You're great. Now you're okay. It will never be like that. I feel like men get that all the time. They're celebrated for whatever like life season that they're in. But for women, they're always expected, okay, then what's next? What are you doing from this? You haven't reached there, then do this or do that. Or you're not being enough. Or other people, when even like, you know, random people, when they see women, or like, oh, where's your home? Why are you not at your home, like, you know, trying to cook for your husband or doing this for other people? I'm like, so I'm saying like humans, like, or people will never be satisfied with what a woman does.
Yeah.
Like they will always expect more from you. So I tell women, you know what? Don't chase that.
Yes.
Be yourself. Do whatever it is that you want. If you want to have that second child, go do that. If you want to have, do nothing, and you're comfortable with where you are, then be that, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
I like that. We tied our worth to achievements. And men don't have that. Maybe because they show up, they do what they do, and they live. And I think for us, because we are living off of somebody else's script, and you said, oh, don't chase that. But we're chasing that because we are chasing that validation.
Yeah.
That's why when, as a woman, you go like, you come and say, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. And people tell, oh, why are you behaving like a man? You get that.
Yep.
You know, like you shouldn't behave like a
when
man.
we do what we want to do.
Yes, you're behaving like
masculine.
a man. And I think it's interesting because we've been in those different stages where you wanted to please people.
Yeah.
You've been in that stage where, I've been in like stages where I sought validation.
Yeah.
And I've been in spaces where, in phases in my life where I looked in the mirror and I'm like, I don't feel beautiful.
Wow.
And I've been in, you know, like I need to do this. I haven't done this. And you take, you know, like a baseball bat and beat yourself, you know, up for not living up to expectations that do not make sense at all.
To you, yeah.
And when you let go of that, and we see women doing that, you know, in their 30s, in their 40s, women go like, wait a minute, what have I been doing?
Yeah.
And they sort of like focus on themselves. And people go like, oh, she's behaving like a man. She's being different. Oh, she's being this. And they don't see that this is a woman who's just like,
a human.
What do I want?
Yeah.
What do I want?
Yeah.
What do I want? And I think also as a community, I wouldn't say Somali only, I would say African.
Yeah.
The homes are run by mothers, our grandmothers, our mothers. The men are sort of like, they're the protectors, they're the providers.
Yeah.
They do things outside there, but the home is like they come, they're the guests.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And when it's supposed to be that they're the ones who should serve and be like create, right? The space for the woman to be in her feminine, be in her soft, warm and relaxing space, because again, we are cyclical.
Yeah.
You know, 1 week you have this energy, your energy is from here to 100. You can do anything on your to-do list, and another week you just want to be under your blanket and drink hot chocolate.
True.
And men don't have that, but we do not honor those phases because we don't have the space, I would say the masculine container.
Yeah.
And I saw an interesting video the other day where a woman was talking about having your inner masculine as a woman hold space for you, being grounded and calm, and like your inner masculine energy, so that you can show up in your feminine energy.
Yeah.
So what happens is that our inner masculine is sort of like dysregulated. Then we show up as masculine outside. We're controlling, we're doing, we're productive, we are like A, B, C, and D. And then at the end of the month, you just want to like run away from your home.
Yep.
And it's, I think, something that in my community and the friends I have and my friendships, my relationships, I see the season of life we are at. Even in different seasons of life, we are, for once, saying that we are not taking vacation from our life. Like our life is not so messed up that we need to run away. A vacation. We are going to make our lives
good and happy
in a way,
and settled. Yeah.
Yes, like a vacation. There was a day I was doing a session with a coach, and she was talking about, okay, you're in Diani Beach, and on a holiday. What are you doing? And I was like, I would write, I would read, I would, go to the beach, I would sleep. I was like, everything I would do on a vacation. And she was like, the second question she asked us was like, what is stopping you from doing that right now? Okay, you are not taking a walk on the beach, but you can read. You can soak yourself in the bathtub. You can sleep.
And do nothing.
You can eat breakfast. You can go for a walk. And it's like, okay, yeah. So you don't need a vacation.
Yeah.
Right?
You know what's funny is that what you said before, that men do have expectations of their own. But for us, it's like our lives are for other people and men's lives are for themselves. So whatever expectations they have, it's like for themselves. Like they don't have that exterior expectation where you need to be this for somebody else, or you need to do this for somebody else. Like, for example, a lot of the time I hear the words, you don't look like you're married, or you don't seem like you're married. And when I'm always so shocked about this question, because I'm like, what made you think that way? Because I'm just curious at what people have to say,
You're so free.
So, I'm like, so why do you say that? They're like, you're so free, you're doing what you want, you are living life the way you want. And I'm like, it is so sad that there's that reality that married women are not living for themselves. And that clearly shows you that it's very clear, even by what people are saying, that I don't look married because I have freedom of time. If I today want to go out with my friends, I do it. If I want to do whatever, I'm like, but isn't that supposed to be the norm?
Yes.
Like, why is it so crazy? Even another thing is like, you don't look like a mom. I'm like, what do moms supposed to look like?
Yeah.
Like, unless there's like a specific mark for women, I'm like, I'm a mom and my daughter is doing things and she's alive and happy and great, while I can also live happy and, live my life the way I want. The two doesn't really need to be opposites. I think, and a lot of people, especially when it comes to expectations of marriage and expectations of motherhood, they always think like the woman is always the one suffering. She's always the one sacrificing. She's always the one sacrificing. While the man continues to go after his dreams, he continues to live life and has a social life and all of that good stuff. While us women are stuck living our lives and sacrificing our lives, which is so sad. And I hate that word sacrifice, because why should you sacrifice for anyone? The only one we're supposed to sacrifice is for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nobody else. At the end of the day, this dunya is this dunya. Whether whether we raise great kids, which also we don't even have like we know 100% that if we do things this way, they're going to be great, you know? We don't have guarantees of anything.
Yes.
And even the thing with marriage, there's no guarantee that if you do the exact things that you are supposed to, that your marriage is going to last forever.
Exactly,
you know?
exactly.
So why are you sacrificing? Why are we taught to sacrifice ourselves and our lives for these things? Even though, honestly, don't get me wrong, I love my marriage and I love being a mom. But at the same time, maybe a lot of people will disagree with this, but they are not worth sacrificing myself for.